Neil Cannon, author of Vitality Secret, Healthy and Vitality Mentor, podcast host, speaker since 2015. Neil has been helping people become free of illness, pain, and medication by balancing their bodies across the physical, mental, emotional, and energetic planes. Pillar of Vitality is his main focus, is reversing chronic inflammation and creating harmony in the body. His readers, customers, clients have reversed conditions, including type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, eczema, IBS, arthritis, gout, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, chronic migraines, low energy, low testosterone in men, obesity, and Parkinson's symptoms in one spectacular and unexpected case. Neil believes the body can heal any chronic challenge when the environment in the body is free of toxicity and in place of harmony. So without ado, hi Neil, how are you?
Hi Michal, good to see you again. Can you hear me?
Likewise, it's a pleasure to have you on the stage, our London liaison. I'm going to let you take it away. Oh, so today we talked about the electric body yesterday. So now it's about the aligning of the body, right?
It is indeed, yes. And just a quick heads up, I may be from London, but I'm actually in Mexico. But don't tell anyone.
That's funny. Well, hey, you know what? Isn't this a wonderful world that we get to travel and see the world? So if Mexico is what makes you happy, and I bet it does because it has palm trees and no rain, very little rain.
I think for as long as there's palm trees, or there are palm trees, and there's ocean, I'm happy, really, and sun.
I completely agree. I grew up in Boston. I left to LA because that's it. I was done. I need the ocean. I need the sunshine, and it makes me happy. So I'm glad that you're happy. And in Mexico, we love Mexico. We have a huge following in Mexico. So that's amazing.
Awesome. Love it.
I'm going to let you take it away from here.
Thank you, Michal, and thank you again for giving me this opportunity to present to your audience. It's a real honor to be on your summit. So welcome everyone to day 3 of my 3-part video series, Release, Revive, Realign. On day 1, you will have learned about the role of the immune system and chronic inflammation, or rather the role of chronic inflammation in the power of the immune system, and really how to bolster the immune system by understanding how to reverse inflammation, and in doing so, getting rid of all of these illnesses and often chronic pain that people just grow to accept as part of life. That was on day 1. So if you haven't seen that, I invite you to go and look at the replay in the area, the members area. I think there is a members area. Day 2 was on the body electric and really understanding the role and the physics of emotions and how they impact the flow of electricity around the body. And it's really quite amazing when we look at the body like an electrical system rather than meat robots. And today is going to be kind of combining and encapsulating everything we've done with some breath work. So I'm going to jump in and do a bit of a recap on what we've discovered or what we've covered on Zoom and with a PowerPoint presentation, so you can just have a look at this very, very quickly. And I'm going to share with you, first of all, some theory behind some breath work, Wim Hof breathing. I'm going to give all credit to this man, aka the Iceman, Wim Hof. I've been doing these wonderful breathwork sessions with people for the last couple of months now. I've done this myself on and off for a long time, since the beginning of COVID, particularly quite consistently. And this breathwork is so powerful for the body. And I'm going to end it with a very, very powerful, I call it a supercharged meditation. So you're going to change your brain waves through breathwork, and then you're going to create coherence in the body. And I'm going to share with you how all of this works in just a moment. So I'm now going to switch over to Zoom. So this is about breathing for immunity and vitality. And I'm going to quickly recap what we did, just so this kind of gives you some kind of context, and I'll hopefully spend no more than 5 minutes doing this. So we looked at how to create harmony in the body, to create vitality across the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual pillars of vitality. I called them because of my book, The Vitality Secret. We looked at the old way of doing things, and that is really to take drugs for illnesses and dis-eases. I'm very careful to separate those two words, dis-ease. It just means we're out of ease. And the old way is to take drugs and mask symptoms. But then what we find is we tend to get sicker and sicker. And that's why we live in a pill for a pill society, or a pill for an ill. And every single drug bar none comes with side effects. And we don't want to do that. We want to get to the cause. And I'm all about getting to the cause and creating harmony. So I equated it to taking let's say you have a skin condition. I had 30 years worth of eczema. I used to go to the doctor and get steroid creams, antibiotics, and prescription moisturizers. And I was even offered immunosuppressants at one point. The idea is if you go to the doctor and you go, instead of going to a mechanic for your car, your broken down car, you just kind of go to a paint shop, you give it a paint job. And that's kind of the equivalent I like to use for when we go to just take drugs for these kind of symptoms that could be a whole range of things. So the new way is to really understand the role of what the cause, ultimately, what is the cause, and heal the cause, or get rid of the cause, remove the toxicity, release that toxicity so the body is harmonious again. And I talked about how medications mask symptoms, allowing you to survive. Medicine helps you to heal, allowing you to thrive. And the next one was, no one gets sick because of a pharmaceutical drug deficiency. Let's just bear that in mind. So then we have a quick recap of what is the underlying condition. It's like the problem, so to speak. So there's a cause which leads to a problem, which leads to symptoms. The problem is chronic inflammation in almost every case of chronic illness. And it's the underlying cause of all of these different conditions. When you get to the cause, you can get rid of all of these symptoms. And then I discussed the new way with you, which is getting to the cause. So instead of us getting a symptom and thinking, oh no, I have a genetic illness or dis-ease, you think of it as a symptom, as a chronic symptom of an underlying cause. So you go, okay, where's the symptom coming from? What is it? What does it mean? The messenger is the symptom asking us to take action. Where's the toxicity coming from? Where's the imbalance? And then you go on a bit of a kind of a journey of discovery, root cause, problem solve, reverse engineer. Those are the kind of terms I use to get to vitality, where you're symptom-free, you're medication-free, you're pain-free, and you're vitality-rich. And now it's time to realign. So we talked about the science of epigenetics, how it's the environment in our body that signals the genes. It's not the genes that trigger the illness. Genes play a tiny, tiny, tiny role. This has been around for a few decades now. This is true for at least 95% of the population. In less than 5% of the population, people are born with defective genes, which means they don't, or they can't necessarily influence the. Sorry, I just realized something was not happening. The environment is not something that they can influence necessarily when someone is born with a defective gene. So epi means above. Epigenetics is like the software. Genes is like the hardware. So this puts us back into the driving seat, so we can really think about taking our power back, as corny as that sounds, and understanding just how powerful the human body is in healing itself of just about anything when we remove what is harming it and giving it what it needs. So it's like you take the toxins out, you put fuel in. It sounds so basic, it really does. But I don't think the human body has to be that complicated, in fact. So we can simplify things a lot. And the moment we consider the environment in our body and what influences the environment in our body, we can just take our power back and heal ourselves. Because I believe the body can literally heal anything. And it's quite a claim, but that's my belief. And I think many people in the holistic space share the same view. So you can just about find online anyone who's reversed one of the most irreversible illnesses known to man. It's possible. I've got a podcast, by the way. I interview people who reverse incurable illnesses according to Western medicine. The body can heal so many things. So what influences the environment in the body? That's the big question. So we are 50 trillion cells. If you talk to Bruce Lipton, a cell biologist, one of my favorite people, and every one of those cells requires feeding. And they have 4 fundamental fuels. The 4th one isn't really a fuel, but it's an absolute fundamental requirement. We need oxygen, water, and nutrients, and the ability to eliminate waste. Huge thing to pay attention to right now, the ability to eliminate waste. The body must be able to expel toxins. And the brain is like the governor. It's like in control of everything. And it's our perception, ultimately, that can influence the environment inside our body. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. This is super, super, super cool. This is going quantum. This is going way beyond these intelligent meat robots that we are, or have been led to believe that we are. So the body electric, this is one of my favorite quotes from Dr. Jerry Tennant. A characteristic of all chronic illness is low voltage to an organ. It's not a genetic disease. It's low voltage. It's not enough power getting to an organ. Knowing this, and by the way, I come from an electrical background. I was an electrician for a few years between jobs about 10 years ago. So this all fell into place when I saw this presentation. And I just thought, this is how you reverse engineer any symptom, any illness. You can literally problem solve. You find where the body's gone out of balance and you solve it. It's really amazing. So with the body electric, we also know that emotions are electromagnetic bundles of energy. It's, I expect that, well, there has been, I've seen some presentations already on this. Emotions are more than just these experiences that we experience. They are literally, there's the physics behind emotions. They are stored like electromagnetic bundles of energy. They can be anywhere in the body. They can be in your shoulder joints. They can be in your knees. They can be in your brain. They can be in your organ. They can be in the muscle fascia. They can be anywhere in the body. I've been helping people reverse all kinds of pains simply by getting rid of the emotion in various joints, often where they thought these things are physical. So, and sometimes for over a decade. So sometimes it can be very, very effective and very, very quick as well. I love this slogan that says, the organs weep the tears, the eyes never shed. Unless we let the emotions out, the body can become compromised, the voltage drops, the organs don't function as well as they could. And that's when we start to find ourselves in dis-ease. And we now know that almost every illness is a result of an underlying trauma. So that's a very awesome revelation. So knowing that puts us back into the driving seat all the time, knowing that we can heal ourselves. So recap: fuel number 1, oxygen. Number 2, water, clean water. Number 3, let thy food be thy medicine. The food you eat can either be the safest and most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. Wonderful quote by Anne Wigmore there. We need to eat as nature intended and fuel ourselves at the cellular level. Number 4 is waste disposal. Make sure that we are getting rid of all of these toxins. The lymphatic system is part of the, it is the immune system. It's the waste disposal part of the immune system. And if we are not active, if we're sedentary, if we're not moving our bodies, the lymphatic system can't work as well because it doesn't have a pump to pump around the lymph, around this fluid, which it needs to warm up ever so slightly for it to leave the body. And that's just one part of the the waste disposal part, if you like, of the immune system. There's other organs like the gallbladder or the liver, kidneys, intestines, also our lungs. We actually exhale toxins when we breathe. A little bit rank when you think about it, but we do. This is actually a way of us expelling toxins, something we need to pay attention to right now. If we're wearing anything that's going to obstruct that, we need to be paying attention to not do that for extended periods of time. So very, very, very important, knowing that oxygen is our number 1 life fuel, and that is a fundamental cell requirement. We're going to be talking about oxygen in just a moment. There we go. There's the oxygen. So oxygen is our number 1 life fuel. We can enjoy oxygenating every single cell in our body by being physically active, of course. And in fact, I did say in a previous presentation that the ultimate reason for all chronic illness is the under-oxygenation of cells. After the toxins, after the trauma, the ultimate thing is the under-oxygenation of cells. So we want to do everything within our power to make sure that we are oxygenated, particularly during these times. So effective breathing improves energy production. It improves our ability to think, focus, and concentrate. It eliminates toxins. Please pay attention to this. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Breathing eliminates toxins when we do so effectively, when it's not obstructed. Strengthens the immune system, improves bowel function, reduces stress, anxiety, and depression. Just by changing how we breathe, we can literally change our mental and emotional state. Increases feelings of calmness and relaxation. It can lowers blood pressure. It increases metabolism, aiding in digestion and fat burning. I mean, there's so much that happens when we breathe and when we're active. So it's not surprising that if we are sedentary and we don't really pay attention to our posture or how we breathe, that people can become depressed, for example, or we tend to actually not utilize the entire lung capacity when we breathe and we're sat down and we're sedentary. We just tend to just shallow breathe using the top section of our lungs. And that is really not very good for our bodies. And we're really depriving ourselves like that. So we want to do whatever we can to change how we breathe. And we can, just by taking a few deep breaths, you know, if you're at your desk, for example, and you set your alarm for every 30 minutes and take a few nice deep breaths for a few minutes, you can change your psychology like that. Because how we change our breathing literally changes our psychology. Our physiology changes our psychology. So breath is everything. There are some people out there, breath experts, if you like, or doctors as well, who say that the number one most important thing that anyone can do to change their body and their life is to change how they breathe. It's our number one self-fuel. So we need to, I hope I've made the point enough. It's so important. So in this little session, it's not that little, I'm going to be guiding you through something which I mentioned earlier, Wim Hof breathing. And I have been doing this with a group for the last couple of months. And within weeks, in fact, even within a day in one or two cases, people were reporting better sleep immediately, better sense of well-being during the day, reduced wrist or joint pain in the hands, in the feet, like arthritic pain. It can change so much because the Wim Hof method, by the way, his 3 pillars are breathing, cold therapy, like ice baths and cold showers, and the consciousness, the power of the mind to change our everything about us, our well-being, our consciousness, our awareness, everything, and our body. He can actually regulate his temperature, the temperature of his skin through the power of his mind and through understanding. He's kind of demonstrating what we can do as humans. He even had E. coli injected into him, and through the power of his mind and how he breathes and just knowing how he can completely regulate his immune system, he showed how he could just bat that thing very, very quickly. But not just him, other people as well. He did it with other people to show that other people could do it as well. So I don't suggest anyone does that, by the way. Quick caveat, I wouldn't do it. It's just interesting what this guy is proving, because we really can be superhuman, and we are so much more powerful than these meat suits that we appear to be in, or we've been led to believe that we're in. And I think being in this meditation summit, most people understand the power of meditation and what we can do beyond, you know, the mainstream narrative, if you like. So what does Wim Hof breathing do? Well, first and foremost, it oxygenates every cell in your body. It alkalizes the body. A lot of people know that dis-ease happens when we are in an acidic environment. What actually happens in an acidic environment, if you remember back to the body electric presentation, is that the voltage drops. So the voltage is higher when we're in an alkaline environment. And there's many people, like experts in cancer now, who say cancer thrives in an acidic environment and it cannot thrive in an alkaline environment. And we know from the body electric presentation yesterday that all cancers are created at plus 30 millivolts, when every cell should function at between minus 20 and minus 25 millivolts. Oxygen helps to oxygenate the body and every cell to raise the voltage ultimately. So oxygenate and alkalize, you can only imagine the benefit this brings to your body. You can reduce pain, improve sleep, have better energy, more energy, reduce inflammation. The biggest thing, one of the biggest, by the way, do your own research beyond this. There's some brilliant interviews on YouTube with Wim Hof, if this is new to you, or if he is new to you. He set all of these world records. He's an incredible human. But one of the biggest things about this breath work is it reduces inflammation. Now we know that inflammation is the underlying cause of just about every chronic illness known to man. If we need to do whatever we can to get rid of inflammation in the body, because it's just another word for toxicity, as you may have seen from previous presentations of mine during this series. So to learn more about that, go and see the other ones again. So yeah, this reduces inflammation, which is just incredible. And we do know that if you reduce inflammation, you have a stronger immune system. So you can reduce all kinds of symptoms by getting rid of inflammation. You can reduce stress. You can enhance your mental and emotional well-being, connect to yourself. This breath work, one of the reasons I love it so much is at the end of it, you feel so in your body. You go out of your head into your body, and you can just kind of be present with the energy that you feel. If you don't push yourself to the limits as well, you might not experience it as much. I tend to go for, I notice the benefits the most when I push myself the most. Although we've got to be careful with our bodies, of course, we don't want to be blacking out. But obviously with breath, we're all in control of our breath. And the breath holds, as I'll explain in a moment, is where some of the magic happens. But I do find personally that when I do the longer breath holds, that's when I get that feeling, that presence, that complete feeling of calm in the body. You can tap into your brainstem. It's really amazing. And that's when we can really become into alignment with our heart, with ourself, with consciousness, all of that magic. And it's just amazing. And I follow this with a heart-brain meditation, which I'll share with you in a moment. And yeah, you can increase consciousness with this, which is something you're all going to love. So yeah, this is the one of the pillars. It's breath. This is just an image of what I've been doing for the last half year since COVID, and more recently in a group. When we breathe together, we also have a tribe. We also have community. It's really awesome. So that we do the breathing, and then we do the heart brain, which I'm coming on to just a moment. And then we kind of go around the table and see the proverbial table, the Zoom table. And it's just an incredible way to connect. And it's been working brilliantly. So, and I'll tell you about that at the end. So Wim Hof breathing is, there's many different techniques, but he talks about circular breathing. And in a moment, I'll be switching over to play one of his guided processes. I was going to say meditations. They're not really meditation. It's a breathing exercise. For the first, we're going to do 30 rounds of breathing, and it's just called circular breathing. So you literally I normally like to sit up. You can lie down, but I prefer to sit up. You can sit cross-legged on the ground as well. But you just want to be in a nice, intentional stance with your airways wide open. You don't want to constrict your throat. You want it to be nice and free flowing, and wide open mouth. So it's just going to be like this. And imagine your belly filling up first, and then the upper chest. So belly, chest, but really it's just a deep breath like that. And we do 30 rounds. And then at the end of the 30 rounds, he's going to guide us with this. You hold your breath out for 60 seconds, and then in, and then you do another round of 30 breaths again. And then we do the breath hold out for 90 seconds, and then we do another breath hold in, and then another 30 rounds of breathing. and then another 90 seconds out, in, and then we're done. And then we're going to go into what's called a heart rate meditation. So that's basically how it works. By the way, there are some situations where we shouldn't be doing Wim Hof breathing. If you have a really serious illness or chronic disease, it's best to kind of check with your doctor. There's one condition where it might be potentially dangerous, which is if you have high blood pressure and if you're on medications. This technique actually reduces your blood pressure. It can reduce your blood pressure. So it contravene with medications. So if you're not feeling fully fit and you're not feeling up to it, I'll let that, leave that to you. But most people are absolutely fine. I don't personally know of anyone who's had any problems with this. So that's how it works. So the next bit, going quantum. I said before with the cells that our mind is ultimately the governor. It's controlling everything about the body. So obviously we have the physical fuels that we need for our cells, and which I mentioned, oxygen and water, nutrients, ability to eliminate waste. But ultimately, it's the mind that actually controls the cells. So one way of thinking of this is we could be consuming the best anti-inflammatory diet known to man, whatever it is right for you, whether it's plant-based or grain-free plant-based or paleo grain-free, which is grain-free and gluten-free and dairy-free, whatever you like, or a mixture of any of them, ketogenic, whatever is good and right for you, ultimately anti-inflammatory. One could be having the best anti-inflammatory diet, drinking vegetable juices every day, working out all the time, sleeping well. But if one is stressed all the time and they're watching the news 24/7, allowing themselves to get programmed by a narrative that really is very questionable, putting it that mildly, that can actually affect the brain, which then affects our cells. I'll come on to how this works. So thoughts and beliefs are the language of the mind. I touched on this before. And feelings and emotions are the language of the body. So mind, body. The mind communicates with the body through direction of thought or belief. An emotion is then created, which is felt, which leads to a cascade of chemicals and hormones in the body. So, in other words, we have a thought that triggers an emotion, and that triggers this whole cascade of chemicals and hormones. Think about sex for a second, although maybe not right now, but the example of sex, we could have a thought, and we notice within seconds that our body changes in a certain way. Or if one is nervous, for example, I used to when I went to university, I used to get very nervous before exams, or even at school, and I'd find myself whenever I was nervous, I'd go to the bathroom several times before an exam, and that is just how fast a nervous thought can change entirely the chemistry in the body. And knowing that our gut is where 70 to 80% of the immune system is located, if we are in this kind of fight or flight state, we know that the immune system becomes compromised. In fact, the energy drains from the gut, the blood drains from the gut. The blood actually drains to your extremities, and adrenaline starts pumping, cortisol starts pumping, the stress hormones start pumping to prepare us to escape a saber-toothed tiger, back in ancestral days, so we can flee from danger or we freeze. But all of this stuff happens, all of these chemicals happen to keep us safe in that moment. If we're trying to escape a saber-toothed tiger, the last thing that we need right then at that point is a strong immune system to fend off bugs and viruses, for example. So imagine that's happening consistently, chronically, which is what tends to happen day to day. And that's enhanced by things that we are exposed to, like the mainstream media, for example. If we're constantly hearing questionable figures, about all of these deaths, for example, if we keep on hearing this all the time, that creates what's called the nocebo effect. So last time we talked about the placebo effect, and I touched on it, not the nocebo effect. But if the mind is believing this information, from a certain source or lots of sources, which is very questionable. And we start to tell the story that this is all happening and that there's this deadly thing happening, then that can be what the body hears, and we create what's called the nocebo effect. So we want to flip the nocebo, and we want to utilize the placebo. We all know how powerful the placebo effect is. Oh, by the way, on the nocebo effect, I once came across this probably 5-6 years ago when I saw the Truth About Cancer live series and live symposium. They said the nocebo is so powerful that if we believe a diagnosis from a qualified medical professional, let's say someone's diagnosed with a form of terminal illness or cancer or something. I'm not even going to look at the camera as I'm saying this. So let's say there's someone who gives someone a piece of information, say you have 6 months to live. And if one is to believe that, that's enough for the body to go into shutdown. That's how powerful the nocebo effect is. So we want to just be mindful of that and know, and by the way, how many people, everyone knows the stories now that someone's had like a stage 4 diagnosis of cancer and they turn it around. Radical Remission, by the way, is a brilliant book. Dr. Kelly Turner studied 250 people who radically reversed stage 4 cancer without any medical intervention. The mind is a major, major component to their success and on also releasing the trauma, along with, there's actually 9 different categories of where they and how they healed. So I would say never, like Deepak Chopra says, accept the diagnosis, never the prognosis. So, okay, I've got it. Thank you, symptom. Time to take some action. Don't believe the prognosis. So, because the mind and the body is so powerful, we can heal ourselves. And yes, it's so good to know that, because we want to flip the nocebo. We want to utilize the placebo. A reminder about the placebo effect. If we are taking a drug, or rather we think we're taking a drug, we're taking an innate substance, and we think, or we believe so powerfully that innate substance is a drug and it's going to heal us. We know in about a third of cases of clinical trials that it's the placebo effect that actually is the reason for people healing, which is just phenomenal. So a thought or a belief is no more than a thought you continue to think. You have a belief that that's going to heal you. That belief triggers an emotion, which triggers a cascade of chemicals and hormones, this perfect concoction of chemicals in the body to heal. That's how amazing we are as humans. So through the power of the mind, the governor, we can change the environment in the body, we change our perception of the world around us, and then we start to heal. So, by the way, this is the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, other cellular biologists like Bruce Lipton, Dr. Jerry Tennant, Dr. Joe Dispenza is absolutely amazing, Greg Braden. All of these people are bringing together the forefront of consciousness, what we can do with our body, what we can do with our mind to heal. And just say no to the mainstream paradigm, which is so limited. Obviously it has its benefits, and many, many, particularly in emergencies, it can save our lives. But we have so much more. There's so much more than the mainstream, what we're led to believe. And I don't even like calling it alternative health. I think there's no such thing as alternative health. There is health, or there's medication. There is an alternative to health, but there's no. Anyway, I'm playing with words a bit. So let's move on. Bruce Lipton wrote The Honeymoon Effect, which is just phenomenal, and really going on from what I was just saying about the power of the mind. And we now know, or he knows, they know, all of the experts know, that through heightened emotions of love, appreciation, care, high frequency emotions, if you've read or come across David Hawkins, who wrote Power versus Force and Letting Go, he talks about the scale of consciousness and the different frequency of emotions. When we're up right at the top of the scale, we can heal ourselves. We can attract amazing things in our lives. And it really helps to release the unresolved trauma as well, to raise our frequency. Negative emotions create dis-ease. I've talked about the example of stress. It's not just stress, it's constant negative emotion can actually bring our frequency down. So we want to live a high frequency as much as we can. And we get to choose our frequency because we actually get to choose how we receive or how we perceive our environment. And the honeymoon effect is so amazing because they've studied couples who are head over heel in love with each other, in that honeymoon period. They're constantly telling each other they love each other, they're having loads of sex, they're having an amazing time, they're exploring, they're traveling, they're living a high frequency life. And they've shown that they have very strong biomarkers for their immune system and, the anti-aging chemicals and hormones. And it's really quite amazing. Very, very low stress, very low cortisol. And they've tested all of these different biomarkers for a healthy body. And that's what he's presented in The Honeymoon Effect. He also wrote The Biology of Belief, which is a brilliant resource of mine. It's one of my go-tos, along with I'll stop talking about other books. So we get to choose our frequency. We get to mimic the emotions of love. So the beauty about the honeymoon effect is we don't have to be in a relationship and be in a honeymoon period to experience these emotions, emotions of love and appreciation of all these high frequency emotions. We can recreate that in our day-to-day lives by changing our perception of our world around us. One of the greatest gems, actually, I learned from Tony Robbins back at the start of my kind of personal growth days, was every event is neutral in our lives. Everything is neutral. Like there's no meaning to anything. The only meaning that it has is the meaning that we give to it. And the meaning that we give to events is based on our own stories from our past, from our own traumas, from our own experiences, from our life experiences. So the moment we change the meaning, we can change our perception. And when we change our perception, we can end the suffering. And when we change our perception, when we change the meaning, we can end suffering. And then by doing that, we're changing our perception as well. And then we can raise our frequency by how we think and how we feel. So one really good way of doing this, and an actual process that we can do, is called heart-brain harmony. And this is just one of the best things I've ever discovered. And I call it a supercharged meditation. So what is this? I'm sure some of you have come across this already, so I'll explain because not everyone has. So we now know that the heart has a brain. We know that the gut has a brain, or the gut is a brain. The heart has a brain. They discovered in 1991 that the heart has 40,000 or so what are called sensory neurites, brain-like cells in the heart. And this was discovered in Montreal, apparently. And since then, the Heart Math Institute has been studying the heart-brain connection and what happens when there are different states in the body, when the body is experiencing different emotions. And it's really quite remarkable. They know that there is communication between the head brain and the heart brain, and the gut brain, of course, but let's focus on the head brain and the heart brain. And they know that the majority of communication, it doesn't go downwards, it actually goes upwards. So it goes from the heart to the head, which blew my mind because it made me think, where does the heart get its intelligence from? Because the heart operates independently from the head brain, which is amazing. This is like the programmed mind. This is the intellect. We read stuff, we watch stuff, it's learned intelligence. The heart brain doesn't work like that. It's not learned intelligence. It's innate. It's within us. It's our connection to the field, really. Connection to whatever word you want to use. Consciousness, the divine, God, whatever word you want to use. But this is really where our intuition comes from. And with this meditation, by the way, when you do it more and more and more, you can tune into your own intuition, and you can start to ask your heart for answers on demand, which is just amazing. Sometimes we're in life, and we let's say someone is sick. It's a good example because, well, I'm working in health. So let's say someone's got a form of cancer, and they've got 100 different people giving them advice, saying my way's the best way. Everyone's saying my way works. That's not going to work. For the person with it, it's like they must be so overwhelmed because of all of these different forms of therapy, and probably they all work some of the time. And it's the person's job to really choose what is right for them. And one way of doing that is by asking the heart, like, what is the right choice for me to do right now? And this form of meditation helps to tune in to your intuition on demand. Just amazing. It's like it is the ultimate brain. It's the ultimate brain. So it is also referred to as the little brain in the heart. Oh, by the way, anecdotally, for the last 30, 40 years, they know that people who receive a heart from a deceased person, I mean, you wouldn't receive a heart from anyone else, that those with a replacement heart, with a heart transplant, they often develop new memories, new addictions, new behaviors, and fascinating stuff. That's anecdotally. Scientifically, we know, thanks to heart math, that lots of magic happens in the body when we create a coherent state between the heart brain and the head brain. So all of these things happen. So the human heart's magnetic field can be measured several feet away from the body, literally measured with clever devices. Negative emotions can create nervous system chaos, but positive emotions do the opposite. Positive emotions can increase the brain's ability to make good decisions. You can boost your immune system by focusing on positive emotions. This is all scientifically proven. Positive emotions create physiological benefits in your body. In fetal development, the heart forms and starts beating before the brain begins to develop. So really interesting stuff. And one of the best things that we know from heart-brain coherence is that we can bolster the immune system for apparently up to about 6 hours from a meditation that can last 3-5 minutes. And so I get my clients to do this twice a day. And we trigger and secrete anti-aging hormones and chemicals. And we create a healing environment in the body. So we take ourselves out of fight or flight, or fight, flight, or freeze, that sympathetic dominance, which is basically fight or flight. And parasympathetic is relax and regenerate, repair. So it does all of those things, or breathing alone does that. So this is just amazing. So this is what happens when we shift from frustration to appreciation. This is heart rate variability. And this changes when we experience different emotions. So if we are anxious or frustrated or depressed or just experiencing any of those negative emotions, there isn't much coherence here. It's like this jagged line you can see on top. When we're in a state of appreciation or gratitude, care, or compassion, those four have apparently been shown to do this the best, we create this nice coherent wave pattern. So we go from frustration to appreciation. We quite literally change the biochemistry in our body. So that is the end of the presentation. And I'm now going to switch over to a guided meditation by Wim Hof, or exercise by Wim Hof. And after that, I'm then going to do a heart-brain harmony meditation for just a couple of minutes to give you a flavor of what this is like. And we have 20 minutes. So I will tell you now that the Wim Hof meditation, or the exercise, is 11 minutes. And then I just want to hold the silence for a minute afterwards, for about a minute. And then the heart brain will be about 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes. So again, if you've got any kind of very chronic illness, might be mindful best not to do the Wim Hof. If you're feeling fit and healthy, and most people are absolutely fine with this. So let's switch over now to the a different screen. now have to take my earphones out so you can hear the music that is played from my laptop. And I really hope this works through this streaming software. If it doesn't, I will just share the link so you can do it, or I will just guide you. So if I can just have one of the admin assistants to tell me this works, that would be most appreciated. So a reminder, it's just deep breaths. You might want to bring air into your lower lungs first, your lower belly, then your upper chest. And you just want to sit nice and grounded, nice and intentional, airways open, and then we just follow along. Follow the Iceman.
Relax to the deepest. Lie down, sit down, whatever it takes, relax. Are you ready? Here we go. Round number 1. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Just go with the flow of the breath. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. Into the belly, into the chest, and let go. Like a wave. Make it circular. Fully in and letting go. Just keep on going. No pause between inhalation and exhalation. Ten more. Fully in, let it go. Fully in and let go. All right, 1 minute breath hold from now on. Be in this moment. Let what the body is capable of doing. Be aware of your heartbeat. Slow it down and just be in this moment. Let that relaxation spread down to your toes, into your fingertips, to the base of your neck and head. You are almost there. Do you want to prolong your breath hold? Pause the video now and continue when you feel the urge to breathe. Okay, recovery breath in, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath in and hold for 15 seconds. Exhale in 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Round number 2. Back into that rhythm. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. In, out. In, out. In, out. Into the belly, into the chest, and let go. Like a wave. Make it circular. Fully in, and letting go. Just keep on going. No pause between inhalation and exhalation. In with peace, out with stress. Fully in, letting go. Nice, deep, circular breaths. 5 more. Let's give it all we got. Last one. Fully in. And on the exhale, stop. 1.5 minute breath hold from now on. Feel. Become aware of your body. If your hands and feet are tingling, or you feel your body temperature is changing, that's okay. You're doing fantastic. If you need to breathe before I give the cue, that's okay. You are almost there. Do you want to prolong your breath hold? Pause the video now and continue when you feel the urge to breathe. When you're ready, fully in and hold for 15 seconds. Exhale in 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Round number 3. Back into that rhythm. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. In with the relaxation, out with the stress. In, out. In, out. In, out. Into the belly, into the chest, and let go. Like a wave. Make it circular. Fully in and letting go. Just keep on going. No pause between inhalation and exhalation. In with peace, out with stress. Ten more. Fully in, let it go. Nice, deep, circular breaths. 5 more. Let's give it all we got. Last one. Fully in. And on the exhale, stop. 1.5 minute breath hold from now on. Become aware of the blood running through your veins, your heart beating. Feel. 30 seconds left. You are almost there. Do you want to prolong your breath hold? Pause the video now and continue when you feel the urge to breathe. All right. Breathe in and hold for 15 seconds. Exhale in 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Let your breathing return to normal as you finish up the round. Move your body bit by bit, starting with your fingers and your toes. Let your breathing normalize.
Okay, so now just hold this for a moment, just with normal breath, normal breathing. See if you can just feel the energy in your body. Notice your brain state. So now let's create some coherence between our heart brains and our head brains. And the way we do this is by putting our hands on our heart. So put your hand on your heart, or both hands on your heart. And we're going to take some nice deep breaths into your heart. Wherever we put our hands on our body or our fingers on our body is where our attention naturally goes. So with our hands on our hearts, our attention naturally goes to our heart. And just by slowing down our breathing, we're already changing our physiology, we're changing our psychology, we're taking ourselves out of fight or flight and into parasympathetic, which is relax and regenerate. So taking some nice deep breaths into your heart, take 5 counts in. And 5 counts out. Five counts in. And 5 counts out. So maintaining this nice steady breathing pattern with your hand on your heart. I invite you to think of someone or something in your life for whom you can share one of these 4 emotions: appreciation, gratitude, care, or compassion. And the easiest way to do this is to think of someone or something in your life where you can really zero into one of those emotions. I find it just easiest to focus on one of them at a time. So appreciation, get yourself into a really deep state of appreciation, breathing into your heart. So taking a nice deep breath into your heart and maintaining that deep, slow breathing pace into your heart. 5 counts in, 5 counts out, but really think of someone or something. And then when you're ready, wiggle your fingers and your toes. Slowly come back into your body and open your eyes. Okay.
So that was beautiful. I love the breath work that you were doing. The whole thing. I mean, your information is amazing. I think anybody that works with you would be able to really get themselves healthy. And that's the key thing, you know, if we want to be now with 5G, with all the things that's going on, this is critical. You know, point blank, we have to have a healthy body now. There's no more let's go to McDonald's. It's really like, this is who we are, and in the age that we're in with all these different viruses and all this crazy stuff, we have to shift, and this is the shift. So good on you. I'm proud of you. We don't have tomorrow, really. I mean, for everybody that has that inflammation, and it's time, and we all know it. So it's just like, get over it and call Neil.
Yeah. Yeah. Go to vitalitysecret.com if you need further help. I hope you don't mind me saying that. But
No, not at all. And also, all of your information is on our landing page, and they have everything, all your social media and everything. So please, everybody, connect with Neil, feel what's right, and it's there for you. So, and that's the reason why we did this. I just wanted the information out for the world, so then you can make critical decisions to get yourself healthy and connected. So thank you so much, Neil, and have an amazing evening, and we'll talk soon. Much love.
Thank you so much, Michal, and for inviting me on this summit. It's been a real pleasure and an honor, and I hope I've created some value for your audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Your heart says, follow your bliss, embrace the light inside. Embrace the light inside. Embrace the light inside.